I'll go home as a beggar and never be your wife.
Hi, I'm Mary.
And I'm Katie, and this is The Housewife Did It.
Pop culture edition. If you like our show, I think you should like, subscribe, share, comment, review.
Come to our Instagram.
Yeah,
It's a fun time.
yeah. Nobody ever wants to talk to us over there. Um, if you like jewelry, you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm boring myself. Um, You can go to Every Jewels, EVRY Jewels, and use the code Mary788 for money off of your order, including sale items. And last but certainly not least, this episode was edited on Qlio.
I will say, on Every Jewels, they also have these cute, like, it's like a clear base phone case, and then you can just buy, like, design replacements. And
Yep.
that's cute if you, like, are an ever-changing phone case girly.
Yeah. I have an Aries phone case.
Cute.
I had a dream last night that I was pregnant and that my due date was my birthday, and like that I in the dream I was like very like consciously like, oh my God, I'm about to give birth to an Aries.
And then you threw up.
And then I said, and I have to share my birthday? Gross. I hate that.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna start with some truly devastating news. Um, Mary Cosby's son,
Oh, yes.
Robert Jr., died of an overdose at the age of 23. He had recently gotten out of jail. I don't know how recently. But awful and tragic. We have had a lot to say about Mary on here, good and bad. But one thing I feel certain about is that she wanted her son to get better and that she loved him very, very much. Um, I just truly, yeah, how horrendous.
Yeah.
Um,
And then Whitney.
this did, this did push back the beginning of Salt Lake City production, which was set to begin right around this time. However, I have seen reports that she is still going to be on this next season.
I think I saw somebody say like she wants to talk about him.
I'm sure, yeah. But I will say, Mary, as you were getting at, tell us your thoughts about Whitney Rose's posts of condolences.
We've talked about Mary Cosby. And so I was like kind of looking at like her post about it and like going through the comments, and I was like kind of like surprised, I guess, by like how many housewives from other franchises were like commenting and were like, I love you. Like, I'm always here for you. Like, and I was like, oh, like I didn't realize she was like so close to so many people in Bravo. Like, she kind of
She
seems
feels
like
so separate.
Right, like a not kind of Bravo person. And then the next day, Whitney. I was combining Whitney and Wild. Whitney posted a picture with her son and said that they were going to a soccer game, and she said, and just thinking about, just thinking about basically like how grateful I am that it wasn't my son that died.
Yeah.
Thank God for that.
Thinking about Robert Jr., and it's like, I don't know, it is something people do. It's a normal thing to be like, hold your people tighter, right? Like, don't take a moment for granted. I just don't know that, like, it needs to go to the internet with such a public, like, following.
And it's like a
maybe
picture of your child in the flesh.
Yeah, like maybe like let's let this moment be about Mary, and let's like not rub it in her face that you get to go to a soccer game with your son while she's planning a funeral.
Yeah. I think what was crazy was like I had seen like the screenshots of it, and then like when I was like going through Instagram, like it was still up.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like 23 hours later. I was like, "Girl, take this
Yeah.
shit down."
Yeah.
Surely
Crazy.
you've seen the what did they say? What did that guy say on um Watch What Happens Live? Like I've seen the commentary, mama.
Oh
Like
yeah, to
surely you've seen the
Amanda.
surely you've seen the commentary. Take it down.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, it's hard to move on from that, but we're gonna do it. We have completed the Potomac reunion. It sounds like things don't look great for Wendy and Eddie. Um, although she is not acting that way, but I mean,
Yeah, I'm just very confused by her.
yeah. And I don't like exactly know the details other than like multiple credit cards under multiple names and stuff. But then she says like that's not true and that's been corrected. Karen was like, stop saying so much. And she's like, I'm only saying things that are approved by my attorney. And like, I mean, that's fair. Like, if it's stuff they talked about and they said she could say this and like it has actually in public documents been like corrected, then I guess
Yeah.
whatever. But I also think like most people just err on the side of caution and just say like I'm not talking about the case, but whatever. Um some people are calling for Giselle to leave the show as they feel like she has no storyline, but she's just there because she's been there forever.
Okay.
Evidenced by the fact that they forgot to even give her a package. Uh did you hear this on the reunion? Maybe it was because I watched the uncensored extended version all the time, but she at the very end they were about to like toast and someone said like, Giselle, did you even get a package? Which I guess is like the word for like you get a moment like about you. Andy like gives a whole little spiel, whatever, and then like you get to talk about you. And like she didn't get a packet, like she didn't get any montage. No one talked to her. And so then at the end she was like, since it's just come to my attention that I didn't get a package, let me update you on my life. And so she like tells him like what's going on with her life. But I feel like and Andy, when she said that, Andy was like, shit, like we didn't. But it's also like, is that evidence that she doesn't need to be here? Which leads me to a question
Her
for you.
storyline is being a housewife.
Yeah, I guess. Someone wrote to Andy Cohen on Threads that they essentially think that housewives should have term limits. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I just think that like I think it's like disingenuous, I guess, to be like, no, you can only be a housewife if like you're currently dealing with something.
Right, right.
Like that's
And
not
like also it's not good enough for you that her stepmom cheated her out of her dead dad's money?
right.
That's not enough?
Right.
That was pretty crazy.
She literally just did Love Hotel.
Yeah.
Like I don't yeah, I just don't think it's like fair, I guess, to be like,
Yeah.
well, you're not drama enough right now. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean like I think that like it doesn't have to be everybody all the time. Like I think like there are just seasons where like there's more going on for other people and that's like fine. And that's been frankly like we've had a lot of time where Giselle is not the one with the most drama, but it's also like if we're supposed to believe these are like true groups of friends and stuff,
Mhm.
like these are people that these like this she is a part of this group.
Yeah.
If not like the leader of this group. And so I think like I don't know. The person who recommended term limits specifically said like they can only have 5 years and then they have to leave for a minimum of 3 years and then they can come back. But like they have to leave. My concern is like I hate when there's an all new cast. So then how many people are going to come up on their 5 years at exactly the same time
Yeah.
and then you've lost almost everyone and you've got all new people and then it sucks
Yeah.
and then you have to wait 3 years until it's good again. So I don't know. um but yeah, I was gonna say like her job isn't to entertain you. I mean, it is, but
Yeah.
like the other thing is like I think that also just incentivizes people to make up storylines.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what I was
Like
gonna
you
say.
were
Like
saying.
her job is to entertain you, not to
Mm-hmm.
like have to experience trauma on
Right.
national television.
Yeah. And like people say Giselle is messy and like a shit stirrer, so she's like creating drama. It's just not her
Participating
own.
act. She's an active participant.
Yeah.
God forbid a woman have hobbies.
Yeah. Rude. Okay. I have very little to say about Vanderpump Rules reunion part 1, so it's in the tidbits for me. Mary might have a lot.
I just didn't like when they said Chris was an Aries.
Mary, they
Disgusting.
do exist.
Disgusting.
I hated Audrey's look, unfortunately. I love Venus so much. And I cannot believe that Chris went on and on about how he went on these dating shows, one of which aired in 2024, completely just for clout, but then everyone believes that he's now being genuine. I feel like it's pretty clear that, like, if you join a show like Vanderpump Rules, it's a good idea to start dating or sleeping with someone because then you get a storyline. And like you've secured your spot here because this girl you fucked over is, if she's there next year, they're gonna want you there next year. So it's like, I don't know, it seems pretty clear to me that like he's just doing the same thing again. But whatever,
Gross.
they believe in him.
Crazy.
Any other thoughts for you from that?
No.
Other than Chris is an Aries and you hate it?
No.
No. Yeah, I wasn't thrilled that we're back in Sir to film it, but I guess
Back in
everyone's
my
got to
day,
pay
there
their
used to be
dues.
production.
uh, okay. Rob won the traitors,
Yeah.
betraying his fellow traitor Eric and his best friend in the house, Maura. But honestly, Maura's unbothered because Rob
Right.
bought her a Birkin. So she's like, what do I need that money for? This is
Right.
all I wanted.
Somebody said, I have a theory that the Birkin was free. And somebody said, I don't care as long as it's Mara's free Birkin.
Yeah, whatever. So let's talk about something that happened off the show.
Oh, okay.
Lisa Rinna was drugged at the Traitors premiere party at the Abbey. Of fucking course it was. She said that they did find that there were amphetamines and fentanyl in her system. Crazy. Reports state that Colton noticed her to be acting weird. He felt sure that she had not had that much to drink, so he was concerned. And then he and her husband and her team, whatever that means, helped her out of the venue. Lisa says this is not an unusual occurrence at the Abbey. She said, my daughters
Yeah,
and
babe.
her friends.
Tom Sandoval frequents there.
Yeah, she was like, my daughters and her friends have told similar stories. Like, I think she, at least publicly, is like chalking this up to just like the location, which I had kind of said to you when we first saw this was like, was this open to the public? Then like,
Right.
yeah, bro, this could have been anybody, which it sounds like it was open to the public if she's saying like, you know, this happens at the Abbey. Many, though, suspect that Colton may have had something to do with it and then wanted to be the guy who saved the day. What are your thoughts?
I think it's just a little bit too on the nose.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's not super likely. I will say, like, after watching the reunion and how Lisa, like, made a bunch of, like, very personal, comments to him about, like, specifically, he shouldn't say that he's going to hold her hostage, even though she said she was going to slit his throat. Or, like, it was very on
She's
the
like,
nose.
I've never slit someone's throat before.
But it's like, yeah, I think that the reunion itself made me like, it did make me like feel for Colton that like these are very clearly like pointed at him because of his background, but also like it's not a made up background. Like that is
Right.
true. And so like I guess I wish Lisa would have been a little more like direct and said like once I learned about your background, some of these comments you made did start to sit differently with me. And instead she just was like, well, that's a weird thing to say, holding someone hostage. And it's like, would it be if it wasn't Colton? Probably not.
Right. If Ron Funches said it.
Yeah. But so I don't know. I do think like you could go down the tinfoil hat-ish route and say like he got mad at her. Well, I guess this was before the reunion though.
Right. I would think
so. Like unless there were like already rumors that she was saying these things, I don't know. But so I really doubt that it was Colton. Do I think that he was probably like, oh, I get to be a good guy? Yeah. Right? Like
right.
I think he probably liked that like he got to help her, which maybe even is part of why he was so offended at the reunion, because he's like, what are you talking about? Like I saved your life. Excuse me. What?
Yeah. I just like I genuinely think like that he is trying so hard to like pretend that all of those things did not happen. Like I do not think that he is drugging people.
Yeah.
While he's trying to like actively get away from that.
And when he was like at the reunion, like he was like, I am surprised that like this came up. Really? Like, and I don't mean it like, I get in his head, he's like, it's been off the radar, right? Like I've done other things, but like you do understand how like reality TV and the internet works, right? Where like we see someone on the TV, we then start looking into them again.
Yeah.
And like those things come up, even if people forgot or didn't know or whatever. So it's like, I do find it weird that like to your point, he's just trying to pretend it's not real.
Yeah.
And act like it's so strange that everyone is like thinking about this.
Ever?
Yeah. And it's just like,
I not understand.
Yeah, I don't know. We've talked about just like the dilemma that is like, I would like to think like this is behind Colton and that this is like like this is because of how like tormented he was at that time in his life. And I would love to think that, but it also doesn't mean that like no one's ever going to bring it up to you again, brother.
Yeah. When I was watching, I watched the Skylar Niece docuseries and the Scream Murders, the Cassidy Joe Stoddart docuseries last night, both of them. And both of them, like, then like the final episodes, they were like, well, one of the killers was secretly gay. So, and I was like, stop using that as like some kind of like natural progression toward violence. Like, well, like, and one of the guys, his mom was like, when he came out to her, he had been in prison for some time already because he murdered a girl. And she was like, and when he came out to me, I was kind of like, babe, I don't care. Like, we've been through some shit. And she was like, and I hate to say it, but like, maybe if this hadn't happened, maybe I wouldn't have been as accepting. And I was like, no. No. Don't say out loud that you would have had a problem with your son being gay had he not also been a murderer.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think like it's clear where our line is, because when like Michael Rappaport made a comment about like Colton having a history of being deceptive or like keeping secrets, that was gross because he's like talking about like Colton being gay. But like, people saying like, whoa, bro, you got a history of some stuff. Like, I don't know, you kind of just have to deal with it.
No, I kind of would have been like on Michael Rappaport's side if he had said like, you of all people know about scaring other people, I would be
Sure.
like, nice, got him.
Yeah. I think it's I want to hear someone ever in the world when they're being held accountable for something they did years ago to say like, fair, keep it coming. Like,
Yeah.
I do deserve that for the rest of my life.
Well,
They'll
then you
never
will
say
love
that.
the Scream Murders documentary because they do talk about another murder where a guy this past year this guy was released on parole for murdering someone when he was 14, and he said in his parole hearing he said like, you don't know what it's like to wake up every day knowing that you took someone's life. And he was like, and I hope I never wake up a single day and don't remember that because I cannot let myself off the hook for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they let him go on
Okay.
parole, and I said, that's crazy.
But at least he'll torment himself.
Yeah.
Okay. At the reunion, Candace needed to be speaking the entire time.
Right. Every day of her life.
I feel like she just needed them to know that like she knows how these things work.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god.
She was coming for Andy Cohen's job.
Yeah, basically. She brought up the allegations that Rob may have broken the rules and told Colton that he was a traitor, but her evidence was shaky. She said that Colton said to her, Rob told me you're a traitor. And she felt that this meant that Rob must have confessed that he was a traitor and then explained that he knows for a fact that Candace is too. But if we put ourselves in the mindset of a faithful, that's literally how you play the game. So, like, how many times did people say, like, it has to be Lisa? Lisa is a traitor. Or, in fact, Rob said that at the round table. Or Kristen constantly saying, I know that it is Colton. It is Colton. And, like, that doesn't mean I know that it's Colton because I'm up in the turret with him. It just means, like, I am so sure of the fact.
If Colton had a traitor on his side as a bestie, why would he be trying to make a deal with Lisa Rinna?
Mm-hmm. Or why would he tell you, I know what you are for a fact?
Right.
Like, I don't understand. But it's just also like, I don't know. I think it's so, like, it was honestly Candace's downfall that, like, she could not put herself not in the mindset of a traitor. And so when she hears that another traitor has said her name, she feels like they must have said it as a traitor, I guess.
Right.
And it's just like, no, he's certain. I mean, Colton confirmed, like, yeah, he was throwing your name around. Like,
right.
He did say that he thought it was you, and now we've all seen that, like, he was turning on you or whatever. But, like, he's like, I never believed Rob was a traitor. I had no reason to believe Rob was a traitor.
Did you see how pissed she was when somebody said housewives should be banned from the traitors?
No.
She was
like on social media?
Yeah. Somebody, there was like a opinion piece, I guess, published, and it was like housewives should be banned from the traitors. They're really bad at the game, basically. And she was like, no, and like kind of like took it into like, I think like a, like, this is your what's the word I'm looking for? You're being prejudiced against us.
Mm-hmm. Us as a culture. The housewives. Lisa and Candace both seemed convinced that Rob did not need to turn on them and that they all could have won the game together, including Candace saying things like, that was a bad move, or like, you should have done this, which I just think was like really a hard argument to make and like hard for me to listen to. And I think Rob's sitting there trying not to like say this part out loud, but like, you're gonna tell Rob what he should have done differently when he won the game?
Right.
Like, I think
he did okay.
And I remember when she was on Watch What Happens Live, and it was before she had, like, before we had seen her get banished, but, like, she was on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy was like, do you think that looked suspicious what you did? And she was like, no, but what Rob did looked suspicious. And it's like, but did it? Because he won the game. So,
Right.
like, I guess we could what if all day that maybe he still would have won the game if he didn't get rid of them, but, like,
Yeah.
I don't
Like,
know.
all of your
I don't
arguments are
believe that.
invalidated because he won.
Yeah, like, I do not believe that. I believe that distancing himself from Lisa and letting Candace kill Colton and then distancing himself from Candace, like, were helpful things to him.
Yeah.
I think if he had been, like, fighting to the death for Candace and Lisa, that would have looked very weird.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That was nuts. She just over and over again was like, this is what you should have done. And Rob's like, okay. Like, I feel like he's, like, itching to say, like, I wouldn't do anything different because I won.
Yeah.
And you
Also,
did
like,
not.
somebody asked him, like, do you think you won because you're so attractive? And he was like, no, because I think someone who looks like me could have easily gone in the house and not played like me and not won.
Yeah.
Duh.
In fact, they could have fought to the death for Candace and Lisa in spite of their best friend being the one that mentioned their names, and they would have lost.
Yeah. Plus, he got infinitely hotter when he left the house with his ice out pin and his Birkin purchase.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's
a
true.
man. That's a man right there.
Any other traders' thoughts?
No.
Okay. Symbol House. I'm feeling like you
Dumois, get your shit together.
I'm feeling like you probably didn't see this because blink and you miss it, but I did not need to see Jesse's erect penis, but I sure did.
Where? When?
It was not this week's episode, but the one before. Him and West were in bed, and he stood up in, like, some gray briefs, and it was
I feel like I
just
did see it.
straight up pointing at West's face, hard dick, and I was like, we couldn't edit this out.
He didn't want to. He didn't want to make out with West. He wanted to make out with Sierra. And yet,
I mean, it was just his morning wood, but it was like, Jesus Christ. Edit it out, you freaks. Okay, do you have any thoughts about the way that he and Sierra were cuddling in bed, especially the time that Mia was there and they were spooning and he was like, I have a boner?
not on, like, Sierra's part. I think that, like, I saw someone say this, and I think that, like, it clicked with me. Someone said, like, it's gross, like, watching him pretend to be a bed bug and, like, secretly be, like, operating under, like, wanting to, like, hook up with Sierra.
Yeah. Some people are speculating, or I guess probably have been speculating the whole time, that Sierra and Jesse did hook up a long time ago, and that they were, like, lying to all of us and to Lexi last season.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I just, like, I don't feel like that's true. I mean, like,
after, like, how shit went down with West, I don't think so.
I understand, like, in general being like, okay, but two people who are, like, that close in bed together, like, you don't act like that with someone you're not, like, fucking. But I think that their boundaries are just
yeah,
different.
I think, like, that's her gay best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he just doesn't know it.
Yeah. As West predicted, Sierra did not take it well, hearing that Jesse was asking for permission to make out with her. But mostly,
Lindsay said, "Is it my place?" And Wes said,
"Please."
Do we put hose?
This is how I interpreted it, and maybe you didn't, but, like, it seemed like mostly the reason she was offended is that she was actually kind of considering possibly a relationship with Jesse. and like would have been open if he had said, let me take you on a date. And like she said, like we've blurred some lines and I get that, but like if you were gonna ask permission to pursue me, A, you should have asked me, and B, it should have been to take me on a date, not to make out with me. And he seems to think of it all as a big funny joke. I don't think he actually thinks of it as a big funny joke. I think he's in love with her, but I think that like he as a boy talking to other boys like doesn't know how to handle that conversation aside from trying not to make it a big deal and just be like, what if we made out? Instead of like sitting West down and being like, hey, like I think I have feelings for Sierra. So I just think he like doesn't treat her with any seriousness. But you say the gay best friend thing, so like do you think that it seemed like she would have gone for like pursuing it if he had been serious about it? Because she says she wants like a best friend, and this is someone who is like her best friend.
I think like I don't think that it like bothered her because she has feelings for him. Like I think
she just wants to be treated with that level of seriousness, I think.
I think like truthfully, I don't think she even knows what she would have said had he said like, do you want to go on a date with me? And so like but I think that like her point was like if this is like you having feelings for me, then like this is the way to talk to me about it, and like that's not what you did. But I think I think her and Wes are soulmates, so who gives two shits?
Got to grow up though. There are now rumors that West and Amanda are out in the streets of New York together and are hooking up, including holding hands under the table with Kyle present. That would be an interesting development.
Yeah. Especially because Sierra and West are obviously dating right now.
Well, we do know that they've been hanging out a lot. Like, based on her Instagram stories, like, her and West have been hanging out with, like, a group of friends, none of which include any of the other Summer House people. Like, it's her, West, and some girls. And it kind of looks like they just like to get high together. Great. Good for Amanda. But I just figured, especially because she was being public about it, that just meant they were in the same friend group. But then I'm like, if they are hooking up, why would that not... I feel like that would not go well with Sierra.
Right.
And, like, West, with his whole, like, no one... Jesse, like, everyone else would have been mad at you for asking. I don't feel like he would fuck Kyle's literally still wife.
Right.
And if they did, I feel like it would be very down low because it's weird.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know...
I can't imagine like either of them like putting Sierra in that position.
Yeah.
And I just have never thought like that West has ever like seemed interested in Amanda and like or thought of her as like a...
But I mean, she's been married the entire time.
Right. But like I don't know.
I can see how, like...
Plus, him and Sierra are, like, officially married now. So...
I feel like I can see how, like, they have created a bond, like, a deeper... Like, that they have gotten closer than it might seem on the show. Like, you know, like, with her not being married to a 45-year-old, she gets to, like, act her age and, like, just get stoned and eat with her friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm excited for that. I just, I don't know if I feel like they're fucking. Also, if they were holding hands, does that mean they're fucking? Or, like, they're all super fucking touchy? Like, I don't know.
Right.
But, anyway, as you were saying, Dumois has now, in addition to this, posted a blind item that West is hanging out with Sierra. I don't actually get how this is news. Like...
Right.
They're hanging out in a public place.
I don't get how it's news because they're like married with 3 kids and 2 dogs and have been for quite some time.
I, here living in reality, don't get how it's news because like they seem to be like friends. So like them getting like lunch together like doesn't seem very like damning. So I'm just like, I mean, it could be a sign that like they are getting closer and like she's forgiven him, but I don't know that it necessarily is like this scandalous thing that Dumois is insinuating.
Yeah. I think, like, I don't know. I think that, like, the what makes it news factor, I guess, is like that
Is
it's
it's
more than
following the
just
Amanda
their.
thing?
No, but like
Oh,
just that, like it's more than just that they're hanging out, because like they were like at the Super Bowl together,
yeah.
and like they, like she was talking about his ass on Watch What Happens Live, and like
Yes.
just kind of like how the season is like panning out and
Yeah.
talking
I
about
saw
them,
the sneak
and
peek for
like
next week is going to be more of
yes.
that.
And
So,
so like
yeah.
I think that it's more that like people are now like kind of like their first season together, people were trying to figure out like, okay, are they dating now? Like did they end
Yeah.
the show dating? Are they going to be dating at the reunion? And I think that now it's kind of like the same thing of like it seems to maybe be heading back in that direction on the show, and then in current time we're seeing them
They're obviously
together
hanging out.
clearly more than we ever have,
Sure.
and
And
even like
again,
more
like
publicly than
publicly,
when they dated.
yeah.
Um,
Which
and
almost lends
like
itself to
she's
me that they're
talking,
not dating.
yeah, and like she's talking about him with like such fondness
Yes. By his ass.
because they've been married for 50 years.
Well, yeah, it's also like if they were sitting at Watch What Happens Live and they're talking about Amanda dating and Sierra's talking about how cute his ass is, you think weeks later Amanda was just like, and I'm gonna fuck him. Like, that would be crazy
Right.
for who we know Amanda to be.
Yeah,
Nuts.
I agree.
Um, all right, so now that West and Sierra have died in each other's arms, notebook style, at the end of their marriage, their long, successful marriage, are you ready to move on to Love is Blind?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. So we pick up with the continuation of that conversation between drunk Chris and Breezy. And she does seem to very delicately, though, shut down his advances. I was saying, like, why is she not saying no? She did eventually, but it was like not, it should have been meaner, you know? He goes on and on about how the only reason Connor picked her is because Chris was picking Jess, and she tells him, like, well, okay, but for me, it was Connor and nobody. I wasn't waiting to see who you were gonna pick. It
Right.
was just Connor for me. He also explained in many different ways that he thinks Connor is a pussy and that he is a real man who would take her to the Four Seasons and impress her father. He is
Four
saying that he
Seasons
would,
landscaping.
yeah, basically. He is saying that he would take her to the Four Seasons, although most normal people cannot afford that. This echoes some familiar messaging in some clips that Chris's ex-girlfriend has now shared with the internet. Um, I was gonna play these, but since I'm on my laptop, I think I'm gonna not. I'll just summarize. Basically, like, he had left her some voicemails about like how much he had paid for a dinner and that he was like mad at her for I don't know what, like not doing what he wanted after he paid for this dinner. He also left her a bunch of voicemails about like how much money he makes from his job. He's like, I make hundreds of thousands of dollars, all of this stuff. And so it kind of just seems, and then he also like was really awful to her and was just like in the voicemails. One of them is like them on the phone, and then one is like a voicemail he left her. But I mean, it's a lot of like fuck you and whatever. But like, yeah, the money thing, it's starting to give that it's not real. Uh, because like people with money don't usually have to like talk about their money quite
Right.
so much.
Yeah, that's why I don't talk
And
about my money so much.
it's because
I
I
know.
just have so much of it.
Right.
Um,
As a
but
public school
yeah,
teacher.
so I just think that like I don't know. It fits the MO that like he's very obsessed with money I also think it fits into, like, obviously he's not going to be a big fan of Jess making more money than him.
Right.
So, because
Like,
that's like all he has.
when I was watching Beverly Hills this week and Amanda said, I make in a month what my husband makes in a year, I said, that is a Love is Blind man's worst nightmare.
Yeah, true. Oh my God. Should have been in the tidbits. They might replace Amanda with Lisa Rinna. Okay.
I've seen
In an
the
effort,
commentary.
yeah,
I've seen the
yeah.
commentary, Mama.
In an effort to explain how hated by women he is or is going to be, Chris said on the show that he is like Andrew Tate. Which honestly, true. But that was hilarious. What was hilarious is that the women he was speaking to were like, who? They don't know who this is. So you've now left yourself as the only person in this area who knows who this sex trafficking misogynist YouTuber even is, and connecting yourself to him on national
Now
television.
you have to explain like what he's known for and why
Yeah,
that's like you.
that's me. We're the same. Um, which leads me into Jess has done some interviews and she has said that like none of it aired, but that she was very deliberate in asking all of the men that she spoke to about their politics, and that she absolutely would not have been with someone who did not agree with her politically. And thus, Chris lied to her. When she asked, like, who did you vote for? What do you believe in? He lied and said the things that she believes in or that he, like, thought she would want to hear.
She said she straight up asked him, "Did you vote for Trump?" and he said no. Which like maybe he didn't vote at all.
Yeah, sure.
But
Yeah, so it's like you lied to this woman about your politics, and then as soon as you break up with her, you say, I'm not Andrew Tate.
yeah. I just like I don't understand why, because like she said that like he complained a lot while they were together, that she was like so liberal and like so into her political beliefs, and I was like, yeah, but I feel like she's saying she made that pretty clear, and
Mm-hmm.
you chose to trick her
Yeah.
into agreeing to marry you. Like,
Yeah.
why would you want to be with someone who's like telling you, like,
Mm-hmm.
these are my interests, these are my foundational beliefs, here's what I do for a living?
Mm-hmm.
And like, you're like, well, I just want to be with her so badly, like, I'm gonna lie and pretend that I agree with those
Well,
things.
and it sounds like this is pretty early in the conversation. So I think it's pretty clear that like he didn't do this because he loved this woman and wanted to be
Right,
with her. Like he did this to even start off on the right foot so that he could
right,
get engaged and be on the show longer.
right.
Um, but I think that like yeah, I mean I can like kind of obviously don't do this ever. It's bad. But like I can kind of get like if you're talking to someone who's like lukewarm politically, like trying to shift your views just like closer to that middle, but like
Mm-hmm.
someone who is like very clear that like this is going to be a daily part of our lives. I'm
Right,
gonna want to go to drag shows. I'm gonna like these are things that are important to me. And you're like, yeah, like you didn't think that was gonna come up
right.
again. Okay,
You,
whatever.
as Andrew Tate, didn't think.
Crazy. I did not expect Brie and Connor to break up. The
The fuck?
conversation was
I didn't expect them to
confusing.
break up while she was wearing a cape.
Yeah, true. The conversation was confusing, but ultimately I was just left feeling like they had already had this conversation off camera, and then they were like trying to tie up the loose ends because if this was the first Connor was hearing of not getting married, like he sure did not flinch.
Because he was
But
confused. He was like, what did she say?
but as soon as she said it, he was just like, and I was like, oh yeah, he knew this. Like he knew what this conversation was. But he, and it seems Brie to some extent, he still wants them to be together, and she
Yeah.
seems like open to that. I really did feel like this was like a picture of a mature conversation. Like she is saying like either way, like I am so grateful for this experience. I'm so glad to have met you. I'm so grateful for our relationship. but it hasn't been long enough for me to know, like, is this the love of my life, or is this just like a really important moment in my life and person in my life who's gonna like teach me a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then he says, like, do I hope that all I was to you was a lesson? No, but like, we'll take the time to see. So yeah, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. I have heard that they are dating.
Okay, that's good. Cute. I don't know. I feel like they're very grown up. I like. Heading into Emma and Mike's wedding, Mike says he will say yes if Emma agrees that she wants a family, but he feels like she might say no if she is not ready for that. I feel like I understood this to mean that if she said I do, that was her decision.
Right.
That she wanted to pursue a family with him.
Right. That's what I also thought.
Emma says I do, then they make us wait a week to find out what Mike says. Mike says no. And I think it's because, like, he had literally said in his vows, like...
Right. I was gonna say, like, he basically asked her.
And how do you feel like it's... But what I think he wanted was for her, in response, to say, like, I am now 100% sure that I want to have your babies. I do. And so to him, like, he, I guess, felt like the I do was, like, not like trapping him, but that she was kind of like, we'll get married and then we'll figure it out. And he didn't want to do that, which is fair, because he really wants kids. But, like, I feel like to her, she knew that by saying yes, she was agreeing to have children with him. Right. And that was her way of being like, okay, we still have to figure it out. We still have to do timeline, figure out if I want to adopt, whatever. But, like...
I really thought for, like, a moment when they were, like, talking about it afterwards, like, I was like, she's gonna, like, tell him that she does want to have kids, and they're gonna have to go back and redo it.
I know, yeah. But kind of similarly, they seem to be possibly considering staying together and just not being married. Yeah. So, we'll see about that, too. Have you read anything? Jordan is insanely nervous heading into him and Amber's wedding, to the point that I thought he was about to run away groom. He was losing his little mind. Also, love Amber, but her hair and makeup was so bad.
Her reunion look,
also bad. What the hell was up with her brother as they're about to walk down the aisle being like, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna say no.
I was like, rude.
No. And she just was like, okay, I guess let's go.
Now, why would he do that?
Yeah. Amber and Jordan got married. Similar to Mike, like, she says in her I do, like, I do, but I understand if you can't. And I'm like,
yeah,
that's not very romantic. Some have pointed to a clip of her daughter saying no.
Yeah.
When it happened. So sad. I have read that they are not together anymore.
Well, she's been posting a lot of screenshots, trying to prove that he's a liar. So, and like, oh, you haven't seen this?
No.
So,
well, because in the reunion thing, they show her like getting up and walking off, and I'm like, what would she be mad about? She's got that cute teddy bear of a husband.
So there, something that he said on the show, and I guess she didn't know he had said it at the time. It was like when they got into that weird fight after the bar, that he had said she was giving him the silent treatment. And so she posted screenshots of like them texting the next morning, and then posted screenshots of her texting production the day before the weddings and saying like, I will say yes.
Okay.
Like, do you know what he's going to say? And she's like continuously posted like more screenshots over time. And in the first one, she said like, I did not give Jordan the silent treatment. I don't know why he would say that on television. That's just not true. And I keep seeing, like, people share this, and then the comments are like, I love them, like, I hope they're still together. And I'm like, in what world do you think they are married for, like, what, a year now? And she's posting screenshots to prove he's a liar.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I
heard that they got a
together.
divorce. Yeah, I heard they got a divorce after 3 months.
Yeah. So,
I guess it doesn't take long to figure out someone's a liar.
Right.
Yeah, I think the only red flag I had for him was that, like, he absolutely will not move to Mount Vernon, and then his sister was like, what about in between? And he's like, oh, yeah, like, I guess we could do that. And I'm like, yeah, I guess you can. What are you talking about? You're marrying a woman with a kid. This is just what happens.
Right.
All right. Brittany and Devontae do not make it to wedding day. I assumed this was going to be because she didn't want to sign the prenup. But it was because Devontae says he's just not 100% sure he can love her the way that she needs. Brittany, in this conversation, says over and over again, we are still together, we are still engaged, as if it is an affirmation and she's standing in front of a mirror. She is trying so hard to convince everyone in that room. While he does not disagree with her, I'm not so sure they're on the same page.
Yeah.
In his, like, confessionals, he's just like, I think it's weird that she had bought a dress before even coming on the show.
That was, like, a crazy thing to say.
What? That he thought it was
like,
weird?
Like, that was part of, like, what...
Right, because it's like, you have literally
him.
known that. You have known that before you even proposed.
Right.
But it makes me think, like, he does not want to be with this girl in any capacity.
Yeah. Well, and some people are saying, like, in her, like, confessionals, as this was being shown, she kept saying, like, I believe we will get married. I believe that we will have children. Like, I believe he is the one for me. And they're like, she did not once say she loved him.
No, and I think that, like, the thing with Brittany, to me, is, like, very clear that, like, my friend was texting me and she was like, what are your predictions? And I said, I did not think Brie and Connor were going to break up, so I am scared to give any. She was like, what do you think about Brittany and Devontae? And I was like, listen, I don't think they like each other, but I feel like they are the type that would just be unhappy for the rest of their lives. Like, I think Brittany is so hell-bent on getting married, and I just kind of felt like Devontae, like, was just gonna do whatever, you know? But I mean, it was weird because it felt from him like he hasn't been interested in this in a long time.
Right.
And it felt from her like, okay, baby, like, you take your time, but, like... And then it was so funny. People were like, he said, I gotta go. They're like, what, you double booked your wedding day? What the hell else do you have to do? You were literally supposed to be getting married right now. Where are you going? He's like, I literally just don't want to be talking to you.
I'm going literally anywhere else.
Yeah. I did have 2 predictions for these weddings, and this is where I start being right. Ashley had to beat Alex to the punch on answering the I do question so that she could tell everyone that he has no integrity, he's a liar, and that she is done ignoring red flags. While I am glad that someone was mean to this man, this is a little bit rich coming from someone willing to vote for Donald Trump. No integrity, a liar, she's done ignoring red flags. But Alex's mom sucks. I cannot believe she wore that dress. And she obviously thinks her son is not a liar, and she's wrong.
Which is crazy because she barely knows him.
Yeah, true. They just met today. She's playing the part of mom very well. Of course, Alex is so not bothered because he played soccer 100 years ago.
Right. Somebody said, you know he wasn't going to get married because his suit is 2 times too big and he didn't brush his hair.
He had crumbs in his beard. You fucking freak. When her dad, like, when they were talking and he said, like, you're very polished, and Alex is like, yeah, I am very polished. I'm thinking, like, what does that word mean to y'all?
Yeah.
This
Is like
man
her dad was
looks
like watching like this.
homeless. If they had said yes, it would have been him going, no. So I guess your thoughts on Ashley's monologue?
She like I feel like she
Everyone's like she thinks she had a deep D moment.
yeah, like when first of all, I think it was crazy watching her get ready for the wedding and like repeatedly saying he is going to say no. I know he is going to say no. Like admitting that they will not get married today. And
but
I'm
then
like,
she also kept doing these interviews and saying, like, that's my husband in there, like, he's gonna be my husband, and I'm like, I don't understand how you can like square, all of that.
Why did you come here? You know, like I think it's weird that she feels like she had to do it
left him at the altar. You could have just
in
not even
front
gone
of
up there.
like she had to do it in front of all of their loved ones. And I think that's something. I also just think like she made the point and like fully agree with her on everything she said about him. Like, and I feel like she made the point, and I was like, yeah, true. Get it, girl.
Yeah.
And then she made the point in 5 different ways.
Yeah.
And then he just said, I disagree.
And then he felt the need to respond and explain why he does have integrity.
Right. And then she had to do it over and over again. And, like, I just think, like, it was so obvious that like they weren't getting married. Like her dad, like watching her dad watch it, like she like clearly told him like what she was gonna say, what was gonna happen. She didn't even.
He was thinking like she's nailing this presentation.
Right. She didn't even give him a chance to say no because she knew he was going to say no, and she was also going to say no. Like if you're that sure, you're only going through with the wedding part. Like she said, like I hope, like he keeps saying I'm not his type, and I hope that he like feels wrong when he sees me on our wedding day. And I'm like, no, you just wanted, like it's kind of like pathetic. Like she just wanted him to want her so that she could reject him. And then and like she really thought she like ate down whatever, and he genuinely could not have cared less.
Yeah. Yeah, it is like, and it's kind of like, how, you gotta think, how long has she known this, that she was gonna do this? And so it's like, then they're on that like little last date they did, and also, okay, I found this weird. She posted a bunch of like behind the scenes, like a photo dump. She included like a bunch with him. I think that's strange.
Yeah.
All right. My second prediction that came true. Obviously, Vic and Christine got married.
Yeah.
You can like tell who treats this like a real wedding day. Like they include their family in the ceremony. Like his sister was the officiant. They give each other gifts. They plan for the wedding night. Like we will be together tonight. We will be fucking. Like they've got plans.
Right.
Also, they just love each other down.
Yeah.
So cute.
As soon as I saw like his sister officiating, I was like there was like obviously no doubt.
Yeah. I will say, and I don't know if this is like on purpose, but in her reunion look picture, she doesn't have a ring on.
Yes,
but I don't.
And I think that I don't think they normally do.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't know, like if the show kind of says like take it off so no one knows, or
whatever. We may have long forgotten because we haven't had a marriage in a bit. But they don't wear their rings in the pictures.
Oh, okay. I am happy to know that Chris got even uglier in time for the reunion. And
he
it sounds
he
like
thought he did a Garrett.
Yeah, right?
He thought he had like the wife effect going for
Yeah.
him. No.
When people were
Big
commenting and they were like, oh, and he gained weight, guess he wasn't working out, and people were like, oh no, he never needed to
No,
work out.
yeah.
It wasn't about
Yeah.
him.
Also, he's like wearing
Silly.
lifts.
Yeah, for sure. I had written down why does Amber storm off the stage, but kind of sounds like we might know a little bit.
You're being messy.
Yeah. All right. Anything else from you?
About Love Is Blind or in general?
Anything. That's the end of my spiel.
Harry Styles' new album dropped yesterday.
Nice.
Very good. Aperture is like my least favorite song on the album, and it's the single that came out before the album, so I was a little nervous. But the rest of the album is so good. And my only
And then
qualm,
tomorrow his Netflix thing comes out.
yes. My only qualm is that I got a notification yesterday that a shipping label had been created for my CD, and I said that's crazy because it should be here today. The album's out now. Why is it not on my doorstep?
What the heck?
Why have you only created a shipping label?
Mm-hmm.
But very good album. Everyone should listen to that.
Yay. Nice.
That's all.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Well, see you next time.
Okay.
Bye.
I like ripped my toenail off while we were recording.